during the lockdown, but it sounds like
Yeah.
an incredible atmosphere to be in.
Yeah. We'll go
Um,
together when I come back to India.
yeah, of course we'll go there again. We
Yeah.
for those who don't, we never spoke about how we met. We met in Bangalore in a hostel, and Pierre and I actually only knew each other, I think, for like a day or a day and a half, because I was basically there for 2 days. But the thing is, when you travel, the friendships you create, they seem to be so strong that it seems like a
Mm.
lifetime that I possibly knew Peter. I was there for some medical work, and still, had a great time there.
Mm.
So yeah, man. So tell me about the rest of your experiences. What did you think of your experience through India? Did you
So,
enjoy it?
yeah, I mean, so actually, it's interesting that you say that about Bangalore. And when I thought about this conversation that we're going to have, I thought it would be really interesting to center it on actually how we met and what
Okay,
um,
sounds good.
I'll get to the bottom of this, but what it led me to. And okay, so basically, I met a friend in Oroville,
Oh yeah.
and he actually met him in Pondicherry, sorry, in Tamil Nadu, and I met him at a hostel called Mikasa.
Hmm.
And together we went to Oroville, and we ended up at a fantastic hostel called Time Travelers, to which I would not have gone if I hadn't met him. And then there I met other people, and I then went to Sri Lanka in order to extend my visa, come back to India. So through Oroville, through him, I was really opened up to a lot of experiences, and I had a fantastic time at that hostel. And then I was like, well, how was it that I was at Mikasa? And then I realized that you had told me, I think on Instagram, you sent me a message,
Yeah.
and you were like, if you transit through Pondicherry, you should go to Mikasa hostel.
Yeah.
And so it got me thinking about how every little decision that you make especially when you're traveling, leads you to something quite different from the alternative. And like I would have gone to another hostel, met another guy who would have
Yeah.
told me to go somewhere else,
Yeah.
and then I'd be maybe a completely different person now, or have had a completely
Yeah.
different experience.
That's just the parallel universe theory for you right there, isn't it, man? Everything that you do during traveling, all these concepts that you hear of in books and all these theories and philosophy that you read, when you travel, all of that just comes true. And you don't have to be taught it. It just comes to you, you know, this
Yeah,
idea of this idea that you just had of how you met me and I led you to Mikasa and that led you to Orville and then led you to the journey. That um, realization has come to you organically. It's not something that you were reading about that, oh, you know what, that happened to me. It's a
mm,
realization.
mm,
So that's why I always say traveling is the best form of education of all sorts. I mean, of any sort. In fact, how many people have you met from parts of the world which are infamous for uh, all sorts of things, of
mm,
their culture or their hostility or things of that nature? But it's absolutely the opposite. I can give you an example. When I was in Zanzibar recently, and there, in a hostel, we had a bunch of friends, and it's a beautiful hostel. And in fact, my room is a private room. It had a little bit of a patio overlooking the common ground where the bar and everything was. And there was another room right next to mine, which also had a patio where you could sit in the evening, have a beer, maybe a smoke if you want. And people used to sit there, relax. So right next to me was this Russian guy who had a lot of tattoos, and he had the haircut. And it seemed like a guy who wasn't a friendly guy. And unfortunately, the Russians tend to have this preconceived cliched sort of personality around them, even though it's not true. Um, and they create a stereotype. So he fit the stereotype. But, he was just minding his own business. And then one day I was just walking by, and I think I was going to use the restroom. And he comes behind me and says, "Hey, my friend, my friend." I was like, "Oh, what did I do? Did I play the music too loud? He's going to beat me up." And he was so nice. He says, "Yeah, are you from India, my friend?" I said, "Yeah." And he had broken English, of course. I said, "Yes, I am." He's like, "Oh, I just read this book, Shantaram. I love it so much," and this and that. And point being, at the end of all of this, we became such good friends. And not only with me, he became such good friends with all the other people I was hanging out with there every evening. And he was the exact opposite of his stereotypical image. He
mm,
was extremely funny, very friendly, personable sort of chap. And we spent the next week together, all of us, and we had a blast. So much
mm.
so that when I came back, I was just chatting with him and saying, "Hey, how's things?" And he's a crazy guy too. So in Zanzibar, the saying "Hakuna Matata," the song from Lion King. So that's Swahili for "take it easy," right? So they use that everywhere. And there's another use, yeah, it's a Swahili word, actual word, yeah. And there's another word they use often. It's called pole pole. Yeah, pole pole is like if you go to Goa, it's like slowly, slowly. Everything they'll say drive pole pole, park pole pole, and it's used in a comical sense as well. So we were just over a few drinks, we were just goofing around. I said, "Wouldn't it be cool?" And he's a guy you should get tattoos from every country he went to. So I said, "Wouldn't it be cool if you got a pole pole on your lower torso, just above your shorts?" And started laughing and this and that. And then I go back and I get a message. He said, "Hey, Raul, guess what? I got a new tattoo." So I thought he got like the flag of Tanzania. He got that tattoo on his lower torso which said "Pole Pole." A funny guy, what a crazy guy, but what a cool guy. And I'll tell you how nice he was. He's a guy with a normal job like all of us, not some super rich guy, just a normal dude like you and me. And we were just talking about how COVID is because the world had just shut down. And I was like, "Are you okay?" Because I heard Russia is not shut down because Putin doesn't consider COVID-19 to be a real thing. He says, "Yeah, it's all open. How are things with you?" I said, "Well, the aviation industry shut down, so I'm sitting at home." And without a thought, without a hesitation, he says, "Are you okay? Rahul, do you need money? I will send you money." This is the guy I've met for 3 days from a country who's got this stereotypical image of having people who are not friendly. So my point being, when you travel, all these things go for a toss and you actually learn about people, like real people, It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, totally. I think it's also meeting people while you're traveling. Like I think time works quite differently.
Yes, true.
In that zone. And like, as you said, I mean, at 9 a.m. that morning, that day we met, we didn't know each other. And I think you were around 9 p.m. and we were like drinking beers on the patio and like, yeah, like having been friends all of our lives. It seems. And we've been corresponding since. But I feel like I know a lot of stuff about you. You know a lot of stuff about me because it's communication goes very intensely and very deeply, and you don't really have anything to lose because you're gonna go, and the other person is going to go. So I like that, and I've definitely met a few people in India and elsewhere traveling. And, I spent a day or two with them, and now it's like friends for life. Like you can fly.
True, right?
I'm looking.